positive start and sit on top on goal difference, but things are about to get a lot busier as the NM Cupen gets underway and the midweek games start coming thick and fast. Can this year's squad hold up when we have to start rotating? Let's find out. Matheson picked the ball up in midfield, weaved his magic and fed it through to Velez, who fired his finish into the corner to give us the lead on 15 minutes. Velez turned provider 20 minutes later as he got to the byline before pulling the ball back for Hegebo to clip in from close range. Seri Larsson put the seal on a good win with a header from a corner 5 minutes from time. A tough fixture on paper proved to be so on grass too, as Viking took the lead in this fiercely contested derby. Norman Williamson's failed clearance was worked to Yazbek, who crossed for Pettersson to finish from close range. 5 minutes from time, Viking looked certain to win when Fechner beat Weiss to the ball following Salverson's knockdown. We made it a nervy last few minutes for them when Hoff headed home from Velez's cross in injury time, but couldn't prevent our first defeat of the season. We got off to a poor start in this one. Anderson first to the rebound to put Arlesund into a 3rd minute lead. At almost exactly the same point of the second half, they doubled their lead, a good move being crowned with a great finish from Ebie. A deep cross from Quiroz was met by Rasmussen at the far post to get us back into the game less than 10 minutes later. And it was Rasmussen's corner that led to a foul on Hegebo with less than 10 minutes to go and gave Heltner Nielsen the chance to equalise from the spot, which he duly did. The big striker was fouled again in the 90th minute, but, having rescued a point, Heltner Nielsen was unable to provide the victory, missing from the spot but having his blushes spared as the cameras failed to catch the moment. Goals are what the game is about, and this match had plenty. Dal Raitan almost opened the scoring with barely a minute gone, but was denied by a point-blank save. Before 10 minutes had been played, we had opened the scoring though. Mullerwolf latching onto a clearance, driving into the box and powering home the opener. That was followed 8 minutes later by a stunner from Bassi. Itegard Jensen won the ball back, made himself available and played the ball into the winger, who took a couple of touches before crashing home from outside the box. Hegebo should have made it 3 on 20 minutes, but his effort was wayward and a relieved Holman Johansson watched it drift past the upright. Sarpsborg tried to get in on the act soon after. Skipper's half volley denied by Weiss, who had closed the ankles well. Holman Johansson had to be on his toes up the other end to prevent Itegard Jensen's well-placed free kick finding the top corner. The playmaker was involved in our 3rd of the day, freeing Bassi on the left, who crossed to an unmarked Hegebo, who in turn finished with ease. We forced a couple of quick corners not long after, Skipper defending the first one at the near post. The second seemed to have been dealt with, but Bassi was given too much time and space and was allowed to fire another fierce drive across the keeper to make it 4-0. Matheson was heavily involved in the 5th, bringing the ball out of defence and being found by Itegard Jensen after a scrappy bit of play before calmly laying the ball back for Rasmussen to fire home. A goalkeeping blunder by Weiss gifted Sarpsborg a goal back as Bjork nodded home a cross that Weiss pretty much dropped onto his head to make it 5-1 with 5 minutes of the first half left to play. Ivazic could and possibly should have got in on the act a couple of minutes later, but his header looped over from close range. It was while the same man was lying injured in the Sarpsborg box that it looked like we'd claimed it a 6th, Hegebo's towering leap being disallowed for offside. 5 minutes after the break, Reinhardsson almost pulled off the spectacular, but his overhead kick flew over the bar. Ivazic's injury hadn't been enough to remove him from play, and it didn't prevent him playing a great pass to Matheson that put the right winger in behind, from where he finished into the far corner to make it 6-1 with less than an hour gone. Another 5 minutes ticked off the clock and another goal was added to the score, Reinhardsson accomplishing on the ground what he failed to do in the air to make it 6-2. Christensen's goal, with just over 20 minutes to go, lit the briefest candle of hope for Sarpsborg fans that a truly amazing comeback might be on the cards. That candle was snuffed out within 3 minutes when Dal Raitan's shot was deflected into his own net by Tibbling in what proved to be the last meaningful action of the match, making the final score 7-3. Brann fans were expecting another goal fest in this against lower division opponents, and we got off to a good start when a foul on Erlien presented Heltner Nielsen another chance to score from the spot, which he duly dispatched. Pallison Knudsen made it 2-0 when he found space at the far post from a corner and fired home. A little less than 10 minutes before the break, a trademark Velez free kick made it 3-0 and the game was over as a contest. We made a lightning quick start to this one. Hjorteseth adjudged to have been fouled in the box with 35 seconds on the clock. Once VAR had confirmed the decision, Dahl Reitan stepped up and beat the keeper for pace. A poor pass out from the back by Ravaglia gifted Hegebo the striker rolling the ball into the unguarded net. He was on the scoresheet again, heading home another Bassi cross to put us 3-0 up early in the second half. Good work between Matheson and Jensen Vasberg worked the ball into the box, and it was Matheson who applied the finishing touch with a curled effort to make it 4 and seal the points. This game produced another dominant performance from one of our strikers, but this time it was Simone Zaza leading the way and opening the scoring in the 3rd minute. He applied the finishing touch to a superb volleyed cross from Velez to make it 2-0 shortly before half-time, and a place in the next round beckoned. Tromsø were given a lifeline with 8 minutes left when Karpitsky was in the right place to score just when it looked like Muller-Wolf's challenge had prevented a well-worked goal. Deep into injury time though, we sealed the deal as another Bassi centre was finished off by Jensen Vasberg to make it 3-1. Our slip against Viking wasn't enough to keep us from staying top at the end of May, and we'd even established a 3-point lead and a significant goal difference advantage. Could we keep the momentum going into June? For the most part, the two sides cancelled each other out, but it looked like Bodø Glimt might edge it when great vision from Zugeli found Mumbanya, allowing him to blast past Weiss and give the hosts a 1-0 half-time lead. It was a lead that was made easier to hold on to when Dahl Reitan's trip on Grombeck earned him a second yellow card and an early bath. We were a resilient bunch though, and in injury time our 10 men conjured up an equaliser, Erlien finding space on the left from where he was allowed to drive towards goal and produce a composed finish to claim a point. This was another draw against lower league opposition in the Cup and should have been simple, but we fell behind after barely 20 seconds when the ball fell to Yusuf to fire home. We recovered our poise quickly though, and Zaza levelled from the spot just 3 minutes later. Some more lax defending put the home side back ahead on 13 minutes, Fjeld controlling his volley at the far post. Perhaps a shock was on the cards after all. It might have been had Grorud held on to their lead a little longer than they did. Instead, Bassi pulled us level again midway through the first half from Erlien's cutback. The second division side finally succumbed to the inevitable with 2 quick-fire goals in the second half. Zaza's good run and finish gave him his second and us our first lead of the day on 71 minutes, and within 2 minutes a mix-up at the back by Grorud allowed Jensen Vasberg to complete the scoring and ensure we went through, although not without our feathers ruffled. It was back to the league and time for an Italian masterclass from Zaza. His first came just before the 20-minute mark as he converted Rasmussen's low cross at the near post. The second was a tap-in after Rasmussen caught Jarl napping in his own penalty area and Zaza pounced on the loose ball. Both were involved in the incident that gave Zaza the opportunity to complete his hat-trick from the spot. Zaza himself won the ball back, and when the cross came in it was Rasmussen who was fouled to give away the penalty, which the Italian duly converted. We made another quick start to this game, Hegebo back starting and heading home after 5 minutes from Muller-Wolf's cross. In injury time at the end of the first half, he doubled our lead, nodding home Bassi's beautifully guided cross. It looked like a comfortable afternoon was on the cards, but David Muller-Wolf decided to throw a bit of volleyball into proceedings with an inexplicable handball that resulted in his dismissal for a second yellow. Vålerenga used their extra man to get back into the match, Coelho finding Orozco in space, enabling the Argentine to fire home across Weiss. That was all they could muster though, and another win was in the books. Another 7 points, including a draw at the reigning champions and a win in the third round of the Cup, gave us an unbeaten month of June and maintained our position at the top. This month's featured man is left-back David Muller-Wolf. His forays down the left are a key part of the way we attack, and more often than not he puts in an effective performance, only falling short of at least a 7.0 in 2 of the 8 matches we played in the last 2 months. The crossing chart for defenders shows that whilst he crosses a little less than average, his crosses find their mark at a much higher rate than most, providing great ammunition for the likes of Hegebo and Zaza in the middle. He's effective at both ends of the pitch, the tackling chart showing that he not only attempts many more tackles than most, but that he wins more than most too. We'll be hoping he continues to be a force at both ends of the pitch for years to come. Our good start has continued, and almost halfway through the season we have a 5-point lead at the top of the table. Viking lead the chasing pack, but Bodo Glimt, who had started slowly, are on an 8-game unbeaten run, which has put them right back in the hunt and left us knowing any slip-ups were likely to be punished in the months to come. One bit of transfer business to catch you up on is that Niklas Jensen Vassberg will be leaving us for Aston Villa at the end of the season for 4.25 million. The deal is already done, but they have offered him back to us on loan for the remainder of the season, which means we can take a little more time about finding his replacement. July starts with the 4th round of the Cup, and our latest European campaign will get underway too. We'll be hoping for a little longer run than last season, but we're likely to find the Europa League a tough challenge. Thank you very much for joining me. Like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next time to find out how July and August turn out. Bye bye for now.